Welcome back to Dan's Messy Garage. This is going to be part 18 working on the 302 budget build. I was starting to put the valve covers on. I was looking for bolts, and I like studs a lot better than bolts, especially with valve covers and gaskets and things sliding around. So I looked and I had 6 studs. I put 3 on each side, and I was going to use bolts for the other 3. And I didn't have short bolts. I was going to go out and buy studs, and then I thought, why? You know, I've got a bunch of these quarter 20-inch long bolts. I bought one of those trips to Tractor Supply, so I'm just going to cut the heads off them and make my own studs. Let me give you a little tip. Let's say this bolt was too long and you wanted to cut it off. You thread a nut on first and then cut it. That way the nut will straighten out any screwed up thread from cutting. You know, when you take it off, then you just put it on a grinding wheel and kind of give it a little tweak on the corner to round it off. In this case, since I'm cutting the head off, I don't have to worry about threading the nut on because I can always thread a nut on from this side. So I'm going to cut the head off 6 of these bolts and make my own little studs. Before I do that, got to go update the budget here. Because last time I mentioned a few things that I needed to add to the budget, and I added them. They were the 90-degree heater hose fitting that goes in the intake, a bypass hose, and fuel line for the carburetor. The 90 degrees fitting goes in the intake, and you hook the heater hose to it. That was $9.59. The bypass hose, that was $7.21. And then the gas line for the carburetor was $28.61. I haven't added this up yet, but I'm over budget. I'm just going to take a hacksaw and cut the heads off of these bolts. They're just grade 3 or grade 5 bolts. They're not hardened. They surely don't need to be. Just holding a valve cover on. Okay, all the studs are made. They're put in the heads. I'm going to take these one-piece gaskets, set them on. See, with studs, they don't slide off the engine. I'm going to plop the valve covers on, get some nuts and tighten them up. Going to put in the heater hose fitting. I'm going to get some thread sealant. Put it on there. You could use Teflon tape. I've had good luck with Permatex thread sealant. I'm going to put that on. Looks like I got way too much on there. I'll wipe some of that off. Get me a big crescent wrench and thread that in. we're getting real close to having it done. I mean, there's not a lot more I can put on. Exhaust manifolds. Maybe I'll stick them on there next. Get this so it's pointed off to the side here. Or I can just put the heater hose on it. I think that's good. Should come in right through there. Grab the exhaust manifold. I was going to put it on here to see how much room I have to the starter and all that. And it reminded me, I still got that broken stud. So I'm going to cut this off, see if I can get that out of there. If I just cut the rest of that off, then drill it and put a nut and a bolt in there, or drill it and tap it so I can screw a regular stud in it. But I'm just going to cut that off. Just like that. Cut it off. Now I'm going to drill it. Wow, that was tough. I was drilling bigger holes, but when I got to the final one, it just wouldn't go through. It kept burning the bit up, sparks, kept sharpening it, trying it. I think what it was hitting was some good hard steel, and I was hoping I could burn right through it, but I just had to keep sharpening the bit and shoving it in there, and I finally got through. I was looking for a stud to put in there, but it dawned on me, it doesn't have to be a stud. I can use a bolt. So I'm just going to be holding the exhaust flange on there. So a bolt it is. So now I can get back to putting the exhaust manifolds on there. There. And I'll stick one back here. Okay, now the gasket you can just hang in there because it's got the slots on the ends. So I'm just going to drop it in here. A couple more bolts. Not too much else I can do to it. I could pop the distributor in there. But I can always do that right before I start it because I'd like to prime the engine again with the oil pump. Need to get a fitting for this, but that is the water temperature hole there. Got a hole in the intake back here for like maybe the EGR valve. I think what I can do next is take this carburetor apart because I bought it. I don't know what's inside of it, if it's crudded up or not. So I'm going to take this apart, clean all the parts in the ultrasonic cleaner. I'm going to use the Simple Green Aircraft detergent. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. Take this thing apart. I'm going to pull the top of the carburetor off. I mean, there's a lot of videos on the internet how to take an Edelbrock carb apart. We're just going to take a peek inside this one and see what I bought, because I don't know. He claims that it was cleaned up not too long ago, whatever. You can never really go by what they tell you. They're all going to say, oh, it worked great when it pulled it off. Yep, like every car ran when it was parked. So I'm going to take these little screws off the top. Now these plates here are supposed to pop up and pivot off to the side. It's not popping up easy. Let me get something to pry it up. Okay, I got a little screwdriver, see if I can get these to pop up. They're supposed to come up and then turn off to the side so you can get to the metering rod and the spring underneath there. I'm just going to take the screw out. See, that should be loose in there. It's not. Oh boy. These rod and spring assemblies are supposed to pop right out of there. But that's not moving. Let me take the rest of the carburetor apart and see what the problem is. Yeah, these are the rods, and they should fall right off the top. And they're not. That accelerator pump diaphragm is split, so that would not have worked. So I gotta get one. I think that's going to be okay. I'm not going to ultrasonic clean that. I can leave all that on there. Okay, that's ready to get cleaned. So now I got to prepare some solution and figure out what kind of container I'm going to put all this in. Clean it up. I was putting water in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I haven't tried this before, but I'm going to try putting the carburetor in a bucket with the water and the cleaning solution floating in the ultrasonic cleaner. Well, it's not really floating, it's sitting on the bottom. I'm going to try that. So there's about 3 gallons of water in the bucket, and probably 3 gallons or so in there. Yeah, we're going to give this a try. Just going to give this some generous glugs here. That should be enough. I don't know how much that was. And I got some more I put in this glass jar with the boosters. And that's just going to plop that right down in there. This guy. Set right down in there. And that's going to set right down in there. Turn on and let her go for half an hour. Just like that. I got the carburetor buzzing away in the ultrasonic. I just put the little bypass hose on here. Goes between the water pump and the intake. And that's going to be the end. Part 18. Working on the Budget 302 in Dan's Messy Garage. Thank you for watching my channel. Come back for part 19 when we take a look at the carburetor and maybe even get the carburetor put back together. Bye.